moving over here. Moving to the inside. As you can see, I have my beautiful Corbeau, whatever. Correct me, because you will. Seats. These are the DFX. They are awesome. I am so happy with these. The wife and I took a ride Saturday with 30 Canyons and everything, and yeah, you can't even tell if they're fixed back. They are very comfortable. They are not FIA approved. That is the main drawback. They are a cruising seat only. I got some Takata harnesses, the actual Takata harnesses. They are pricey. And then I got the Techno Toy Tuning, the T3. I could have probably just said T3, you would understand exactly. Little harness bar back here, bolted up. I don't want to say bolted up directly. I had to give her some ass just so I can get it in. And it bolts up. Oh, dude, Techno Blast. It bolts right there. Then it bolts down there. Oh, let's see if I can get a better reference over here. Okay, right down there. There's a nice little gusset right there for some rigidity. Goes right down there. That's just a leaf. Yeah, carpet's all done. Would you look at that? Would you just look at that? And I had to make a good size hole here because the shifter comes so much further back. And this guy is just glued on with some very, very tough resin, glue that I got. Yes, everything is very stiff, man. I gotta say, with the additional cross members I welded in, the additional cross member for the transmission that I bolted in. If you guys remember from my other video, it's going directly underneath. And I put 2 bolts down there, drilled those in with a little beef up plate and welded those in. So effectively I have, 4 studs holding up that little, that very beefy transmission cross member. And then to complete the rigidity, I got that harness bar. So it's not a roll cage, whatever, but it does make this thing very stiff. So here's just my MTXL Innovative. Very cool little gauge here. A little sweep action. It has a digital readout. That just means the heater, it's warming up. It has a digital readout here, and then it's a sweep in action. I hooked up the fuel gauge. Would you look at that? The green, that is your 12-volt signal, I should say, to the fuel gauge. The yellow wire, that goes all the way back to your fuel sending unit, and of course it grounds out back there. It's a separate grounding wire, and then of course you have to ground it there. But yes, my fuel gauge works and everything, and that's with the 12-circuit setup. This little Sport Comp boost gauge, and once I put my center console will be bolted in, and that's pretty much all I'm going to be waiting for. But yes, I have a heater or a blower. That's kind of tame, huh? Uh-oh. It's pretty good. And of course I have my heater cock. Everything's wired up there, or not really wired, but hooked up, and no leaks. So all the carpet, well, stop it with the party. All the carpet is done. So there's a little fuse panel there. One goes to each bank, one goes to each bank of the coils and the injectors. I should specify there's my little resistor pack. So I did as best I could. Those little resistor plates right there. They're bolted onto aluminum because they get hot and they will dissipate heat. And then here's my vacuum hose here. Vacuum reference for the Mega Squirt. Yeah, I don't need to show you any more of that. So that's all yucky poo-poo. It's up and out of the way. No one's gonna be kicking it. And I have another little panel here. Actually, I was able to find that in the junkyard years ago because that shit is rare. Then here's my Speed Hut gauges. Everything lights up. I even got the turn signal. Oh, isn't that cute? Isn't that nice, honey? Oh, then hold on, look at this, ready? So let's say I got my headlights on. Yes. Power. Very good. How about that? But that little gauge right there, there you go. I got 417 miles on it. It gives me my altitude and everything, so give your altitude, your 0 to 60, your quarter-mile times. And here's my little signal right there for the GPS. I screwed up, man. I painted this guy with gloss. That was a mistake. I should have not done that because this shit is shiny, boy. Yeah, and everything, these are all stock. They're still good. The only holes in the head is just right above me. I'm not too worried about it. Where the wife is, she got no holes over here. I'm still rocking the Blue Dwarf skins. I gotta say though, with that new sound deadening, I need to put in the weather stripping, but with that new sound deadening I laid in and everything, because this is just the 50 mil, but the 80 mil stuff, yeah, it is beautiful in here. It's a very nice little cruiser, and this thing is solid. These seats, I had to make my own little brackets. I drilled in the stock location here, because it's just a plate that sits over there. So I just drilled in the specific locations for my sliders, because I have sliders, because I don't play, dog. And then with the plate back there, I just had to bolt that to the existing seat locations, and then the width of the back side of the slider brackets were a little bit closer in, so I was able to fit bolts in conjunction with the other bolts that are holding in the bracket. If that makes any sense. And then here's my little switch here for the reverse. I'm running that off the fan circuit because I have my ignition still on. Because on the 12 circuit for the Speed Hut thing, it doesn't have a reverse function. Ain't that cute? I have the fan wire from the 12 circuit going all the way to the back, lights, and then the actual ground itself, that's hooked up to the switch here. Just like as you would if you wanted to hook up the fan with like a mechanical switch, I have that set up because you would ground the switch out, you know what I mean? I'm grounding this switch out for the reverse and the transmission, and then I have the fan power going all the way to the lights. Just like that. Here you go, here you go, here you go, here you go. Oh, I lied, they're not all LEDs. I forgot this guy. But yeah, I am very fortunate to have those amber tail lights, man. By the way, if you guys are curious on how to swap out the amber tail lights, I have a video on that. And if you're not, it's fine. Oh boy, you did it again, you dingus. Here, lock that up. Let me see. My main thing with this whole wiring is that I wanted my lights, at least in the rear. If anything, I wanted these to act like stock. I indeed have the stock wiring harness and everything. I'm retaining that. Running everything to LEDs. And then I just hooked it up accordingly. So I got all the grounds right there. All the light grounds to that point. I believe that's where the stock location was. And I just kept on referencing back and forth. It took me a very long time between laying out, here's the wiring harness. There's this. But this is between the IS300, so the older shit, this is like the Datsun. So I kept everything, and I laid everything out, and I wanted to see how everything was done, so that's why it's just a absolute mess. But retaining the wire harness, as much as I wanted to throw it away, was beneficial in the long run, because I was able to reference and how they actually hooked it up. And of course, to simplify everything, because you're going from, this little car cover, to go from the 12 circuit to this complicated layout of divvying out the left and right, and then of course reverse and parking lights and all that jazz. I am running a Walbro 255 from, I've had that for the past couple years, man, and it works just fine. I mean, shit, it was sitting in a car for like 3 years. I think it's what it is. It's been 3 years. Yeah. That's pretty much it. The wiring and everything is completely done. I have the flex fuel and everything all set up. I need to put the sensor somewhere, but I have the pigtail just tucked away. But yes, the car is phenomenal. I gotta say, this engine is awesome. And this is just an NA motor that I threw a turbo on it. I do need to get a full tune the rest of the way, but so far, this engine is awesome. I'll come up with a solution for the crankcase ventilation system. Maybe I'll just run a... There's multiple ways to do it, especially for a 2J. Everything's already been there, done that. I just need to do my research, and then once I'm actually comfortable with the braking and everything, then I'll worry about little tidbits like that. But for now, we're good. But this thing is great, man. I am very, very happy with the end result. At first, when I was able to finally turn it over, I had no expectations, but I finally cranked and it was running, and it was the best feeling ever. I pretty much made my tune from scratch. My buddy's actually in Korea right now, so he's been helping me a lot. Actually, I've been sending him data logs, and he's been pretty much just churching everything up, saying, okay, try it like this, try it like that. So he's been a great help. The big thing I gotta mention before I go is with the crank position sensor. They create a lot of noise. It's a variable reluctant or a VR sensor. It's just a magnet. It will create noise. I believe in the IS300, the cam sensor is a similar, if not the same thing, because it's the same connector and everything, but it's also a VR sensor. This sensor does not create as much noise as the crank position sensor does. The crank position sensor was creating way too much noise, and I wasn't able to rev past 1760. I put a, what do we got here? Pioneer Days up in Utah, brother. Everyone's sending off fireworks again, just like the 4th. These people love these fireworks. All right, man, so I put one of these, a low 10K quarter watt in line, because you have your shielding, obviously, then you have your ground, and then you have your, I guess, your pickup wire, but the polarity doesn't matter. So you can, yeah, dude, it's fine. It's starting flame wars. Oh, and then with the little coolant reservoir, it's just a little Dorman guy. It's the only the best Chinese products you can ever get with Dorman. Here's a little setup I had for that because it's obviously, you know, flat, the mounting style, and then this side of my fender is not. So I just ran a little bolt there, put a little nut in between, and then it's holding pretty dang good. I gotta say, went to the junkyard, grabbed this guy, and everything worked out perfect because I had a little bracket, or it has a little bracket, and it lined up exactly where I needed it to be. So yeah, it's cool. Everything just pretty much lined up, and it's just a hodgepodge of stuff from the Pick and Pull and eBay. But yes, I'm probably missing something. This video will probably be a two-part, whatever. Hit me up with questions. I'm going to be making more videos. There's a lot of things that's been going on with me. So either way, here's where it's at, and I couldn't be happier. Thanks, guys.